Hello.
Okay, so first I'm going to go ahead and read you a statement that I just need a little bit of a yes or no on, actually a very clear yes or no on, just because it covers kind of the legality a little bit, okay?
Okay.
So, hello Pews, my name is Sarah Cano and I am a nutrition student in the Introduction to Nutritional Counseling class at the University of Houston. This is part of an assignment in which I am practicing being a nutritional counselor. Do you give me permission to videotape this assignment?
I do.
Do you give me permission to show this videotape to the class?
I do.
3 of my classmates and possibly 1 dietetic intern, as well as my instructor, might also see and grade this video. Is that okay with you?
Yes, that's fine.
Perfect. Okay, so first of all, I'm glad to have you in today.
Glad to be here.
Really excited to start an assignment like this. So I kind of just want to know a little bit about yourself. Tell me your story.
Okay. Well, my name is Pius. I am a senior here at the University of Houston. I'm a finance major, marketing minor, and I'm graduating in May, hopefully. And yeah.
Cool. So tell me a little bit about your background. Where are you from? What was your childhood like? I just really want to get to know you before we jump into the specifics of.
Okay. Well, I was born in Lithuania, and we moved to the United States in 2008, and we moved to San Marcos, Texas, and we lived there for a year, and then we moved to New Braunfels, which is where my parents still live, and went to middle school, high school there, and once I graduated I came here. More about my childhood. When we moved here I was in 6th grade. I didn't really speak any English, but now I do, obviously.
Great. Cool. So, one of, I think, the biggest, most important factors to take into sessions like this is that your background and things that you've been through, your experiences, can really affect your health and therefore your nutrition. So, I know that we've just met, but I'm going to go ahead and ask that you trust me a little bit. And just share, do you think that there was a time that may have changed your outlook on things or your perspective on life and just kind of changed your mood and behavior in a really drastic way? Or do you think that you've just kind of had a very, kind of child upbringing, I guess?
Okay. I got you.
So what do you think?
What?
Do you think that there was anything that kind of affected you in that way, or do you think that there's anything recently that's done that? I'm just trying to get an idea of what would have brought you in before I go ahead and ask those more specific questions.
Okay. Well, basically, I've always been a thin person. I guess my mom's side of the family and my dad's side of the family are kind of thin people, but I've always wanted to put on muscle weight, and so I've been obviously working out, sometimes eat a lot to try to put on weight, but I think I have really fast metabolism, so it's kind of hard to do that sometimes.
Okay, so in regards to metabolism and all of that, have you ever had any health issues that you think might be related to nutrition, or just otherwise?
Never really had any health issues. Whenever I go to a doctor, my blood pressure is kind of high, but I don't think that's a health issue. I just think I don't like doctors or hospitals.
Oh, okay. So what do you know? Tell me about what you know about high blood pressure and that kind of thing. Do you know that it can be related to food, or is that something that you just kind of dealt with, that it's something that you have, and that's the end of the story?
High blood pressure, you can get it from drinking coffee and eating bad foods. I know that much. And I guess you could also die from high blood pressure. There's a possibility of that. What is it, a silent killer?
Yeah, definitely.
So I know that much.
Okay, and has anyone else in your family experienced that same high blood pressure? Is it just you?
Well, my mom has high blood pressure, but only when she goes to the doctor as well. She also drinks a lot of coffee.
Isn't it funny how that works out?
Yeah.
Only when you go to the doctor.
Yeah, I think it's called white coat disorder. Also, my grandmother had high blood pressure, but she was an alcoholic. So
Yeah, okay, so maybe those are some environmental factors. Maybe there is a little bit of genetics involved in that, but it's definitely something that we want to talk about, you and I, in regards to your nutrition and your health.
cool.
But I kind of want to bring up, your mom and your grandma. You mentioned them. Seems like you've been pretty close to them. I'm sure they play a big part in your life. Tell me a little about that. What was your relationship, I guess, like with them in regards to food? When you were a kid and growing up, did y'all have family dinners together, or was it something more that everybody ate on their own whenever they had a chance?
We've always had family dinners. Let's see. I mean, back when we lived in Lithuania, we did it less because my mom was like a single mother, so she would just get back from work, make dinner, and just like eat whenever. Whenever we moved here, and now that I have a stepdad, we would kind of like sit at a table. Not always like formally like at a table, but like in front of TV, but like we did like at the same time. So.
Cool. So I want to know a little bit about your relationship, again, with food and kind of just what your day looks like. I want to know a little bit about your actual day, and then kind of intertwine your meals and food and that kind of stuff into what you're going to tell me.
Okay,
Does
well,
that make sense?
yeah. So, let's start with like when I wake up. So usually during the week I wake up around like anywhere from like 8 to 10 depending when I have class. And then I usually eat breakfast, obviously, right when I wake up. And I actually have a meal plan that I'm doing right now. So I eat a cup of cereal and a cup of milk for breakfast. Then in between breakfast and lunch, so like a brunch, I do 1.5 cups of Greek yogurt with some raisins and unsalted peanuts. And then for lunch, I do 6 egg whites and 2 cups of orange juice. And then, this is serious. And then in between lunch and dinner, I do a peanut butter banana smoothie with milk. And then for dinner, I do chicken sandwich with avocado. And then for a bedtime snack, I like to get some carbs in, and I do 2 trail mix bars.
Okay, wow, so that seems really strict.
Very.
Is that something that you stick to or try to stick to every day?
I do try to do that every day, but I've only been doing it for 2 weeks.
Oh, wow. Well, I mean, congratulations. That's still quite the move. That's awesome. So tell me a little bit about, in between your meals. You said you go to class between 8 and 10 every day. Is that constant, or is that something that, is your class at 9 every day?
Well, on Tuesdays and Thursdays, my class is from 8:30 to 10,
Okay.
and it's constant. And then Mondays, my class is from 10 to 11:30,
Okay.
and then 1 to 2:30, and then 4 to 5:30.
Okay.
And then Tuesdays, I also have a class from 11:30 to 1.
Okay. And so what do you do after class?
I usually go back to my room, and I watch some Sports Center, eat my food like how I'm supposed to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much it. Do you kind of usually stay in your room from, the end of one class until the next one, or do you?
I mean, it depends what I have to
busybody?
do. It depends what I have to do. Sometimes I'll take a nap.
Okay.
Yeah.
But you pretty much just staying home, not really going out, doing crazy things.
Well, I mean, I'm between class.
Well, I mean, after, in the evenings.
Oh,
and
after
stuff.
class? After class. I mean, yeah, obviously, I go work out
Okay, so how often do you work out?
like 5 days a week, Monday through Friday.
Wow.
Play some basketball occasionally, get some cardio in. Sometimes we'll go out, especially the World Series going on right now.
Yeah.
So kind of have to. But usually I go out on the weekends.
Okay.
Just during the week, whenever I do go out, it's either a Thursday or a Friday.
Okay, yeah. So what do your weekends look like? You mentioned that you had a really, really strict schedule for food normally. Is that something that you follow on the weekends too?
No, on the weekends I eat whatever I want.
Okay, so you kind of have a cheat 4 days.
2 days. Weekends are Saturdays and Sundays.
Okay, so you don't have like the typical Friday off, like.
No, Fridays I still stick to my meal plan.
Okay. Okay. Cool. So, when you say you kind of eat whatever, try to give me a little bit of an idea. You know what that looks like.
Well, usually for breakfast. Well, actually, I sleep in later
Okay.
on the weekends.
When you say late, what do you mean?
Like noon.
Okay.
So I really don't eat breakfast.
So you have lunch for breakfast, kind of thing.
But it's my first meal,
Yeah.
so
Okay.
it's still breakfast. In the afternoon. I just eat like whatever I have left over usually for breakfast. So like cereal, like yogurt, whatever. For lunch, maybe make like a sandwich with like some deli meat. And then for dinner, probably go eat somewhere. So like a Chipotle or pizza.
Okay.
Just kind of like whatever.
So you mentioned the World Series, and I know it's football season right now. You seem like someone that's really into sports. You mentioned Sports Center, all that.
Mm-hmm.
Do your eating habits change when you are maybe watching the World Series? Where do you watch the World Series? Tell me a little bit about that.
Well, it depends. It seems that every time I watch them at home, they seem to win.
Okay.
But when I go out, they seem to barely win or lose.
Okay.
So tonight I'll be watching it at home.
Okay, good move, good move. But when you do go out, do you normally eat at a restaurant or is it like bar food?
Usually bar food, happy hour.
Okay,
I actually went yesterday. I had some $2 tacos.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, they're pretty good.
That sounds awesome. So you skipped a little during the week then?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah,
I did a little
okay.
bit.
So what is this bar food? You mentioned tacos. Is there anything else that
It
you
just
kind of
depends
tend
what
to
they
like
have.
lean toward?
Yeah, I mean, tacos are a good one. Chicken fingers sometimes. Sometimes there's like these Italian guys on bikes that sell pizza for $10.
Okay. Yep, I've had one.
Pretty good pizza,
Pretty
as I'm
great.
sure you know. So yeah, just kind of like just whatever.
Okay. Now a little bit of a touchier subject. What does your alcohol consumption look like?
On the weekends it's fair.
Okay. Yeah. So when we say fair, 1 to 2 drinks, 4 to 5, more than 5.
It just depends.
Okay.
If it's like
Varies from week to week, just kind of how you're feeling at the time.
yeah,
Okay.
it's just like if it's happy hour, if it's like $3 beers, then like 3 or 4. But again, I only do happy hour like once or twice a week.
Okay. Okay. Cool. So what made you come in today? What brings you in here?
Well, like I said earlier, I want to put on some weight, some lean muscle.
Okay.
Like I said, my family has always been kind of thin,
Okay.
and I'd like to put on some weight. I'm at 150 pounds right now, and I'd like to gain like maybe 25, 30 pounds. So,
Okay, yeah. So if I had like a magic wand, right, and I was like, let's see what we can do, right? And I could do, anything. What would you like to see changed in your body?
I mean, like I said, just gain some muscle, some lean
Okay.
muscle, and I mean, I guess that also depends on working out, but
Yeah.
maybe lose, like, even though I'm a thin guy, maybe lose some of the, like fat, but like replace it with muscle.
Okay, so I'm hearing a lot of like muscle building, that kind of thing. But I kind of want to talk a little bit about how your food choices kind of go hand in hand with that, and how obviously they say I have to be in the kitchen, all that kind of thing. But also, I think it has a lot to do with how you're feeling, right? So you're not always going to want to work out if you don't feel so well. So I want to talk a little bit about how your mood or maybe your just well-being changes when you're eating, strictly on this meal plan that you have, and then as opposed to tacos or pizza from the Italian guy on the bike.
Okay.
Have you noticed a difference in that, or you just kind of?
I mean, it just depends.
Okay.
Obviously, I feel good when I'm on the meal plan, because otherwise I wouldn't do it.
Yeah.
But then, like when I do eat unhealthy food like pizza, I eat too much of it.
Okay.
So I feel a
kind of
little
you
like
binge on it.
kind of.
Okay.
But I guess it's a fast metabolism. It goes away pretty quickly.
Okay.
So like even if I eat unhealthy, I still want to like work out and stuff.
Yeah.
But also whenever I work out, it makes me want to eat healthy. Like after I work out.
Yeah, so it's kind of like a cycle, and then
Yeah,
you
so
break
it's
that
like-
cycle, you
yeah.
don't feel so great.
Yeah, like I want to eat like avocados.
Okay, yeah, I'm a big fan of avocados here, so I totally get that. So you mentioned this, like, you eat too much of it. Do you think that it's kind of like a, I don't want to scare you or, make it seem too extreme, but does it feel like a little bit out of control? Or is it just like it's there so you have to eat it kind of thing?
Well, I mean, both.
Okay.
I mean, I don't really want to say out of control. I mean, I guess if it was out of control, I'd be,
Yeah.
But it's just kind of like, if there's an extra slice of pizza left, I'm gonna eat it.
Okay.
Because why waste?
Okay.
But I may be full already, but I'll eat the slice of the pizza.
Yeah.
Okay. And so then, what else? What was the-
Well, I'm just kind of trying to get an idea. I want to like get into your brain. I want to figure out what that, feeling is like and what's going on in the moment when you're having these binges. So is this something that you experience other times? Do you also, when you're on your meal plan, do you feel like you have to eat everything that's on your plate?
Well, yeah.
Oh, because you're on your meal plan.
I'm trying to hit the numbers.
There you go. There you go.
Like the calories
Yeah.
and the protein.
Okay,
and
so
everything.
let's think pre-meal plan, right? 2
Okay.
weeks ago, 2.5 weeks ago.
Okay.
Did you feel the same way? If you were to make a sandwich, do you feel like you have to eat the whole sandwich, even though maybe you are already full after eating 3/4 of the sandwich?
Well, I guess it's just the way I was raised, but yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So is that something that like your parents and your mom, your stepdad, your grandparents, or is this something that stemmed more from when you were living in Lithuania as a child?
It was just me.
Okay.
I just eat everything.
Yeah, kind of like
That's
a
what
waste
I'm
not,
kinda
want
mean.
not.
Yeah, unless it's like vegetables, like broccoli. I don't like broccoli. Then I won't eat that. But if it's like lasagna, I'll eat all of it. If it's like fish, I'll eat all of it.
Okay. So you don't necessarily have a problem, I don't want to say it's a problem, but you don't necessarily have an issue with eating or, overeating or anything like that as long as it's healthy foods. But what I'm getting is that you don't really like, or you seem to have an issue with when you're overeating or binge eating these unhealthier foods like the pizza that we were talking about. So I kind of want, and we'll talk about a little bit about this as we're closing with your goals and how we're going to move forward and stuff. But thank you for sharing that with me. I know that sometimes it's a little bit hard to go in and share these things that you might not otherwise think about, and that kind of thing. But a word that's come up quite a few times has been healthy. I've noticed that you say eat healthier, I want to be healthy. What does that mean to you? If you could draw that out, kind of paint me a picture of what it would be to be healthy.
Well, obviously being healthy, staying under the recommended amount, for like cholesterol, sodium, all that stuff. And since I want to put on weight, I want to eat a healthy amount of, protein and carbohydrates and calories and stuff. But I also want to stay under the limit of, things like sodium that could have an effect on my heart health, my cardio health. So.
Yeah, your cardiovascular health. That's
Yes.
important. That's something
Very.
we should take into consideration. Absolutely. So jot that down. I also kind of want to know what is the most important to you. I mean, obviously, your health issues are going to come first. You definitely want to address your sodium levels to see if maybe altering those a little bit could help with your blood pressure. But I just want to know if there's something. I mean, is it? You keep mentioning, getting bigger and all that. Is it an image thing? Is it a confidence thing? Where does that stem from?
I mean, it's like obviously it's like an image and confidence thing.
Okay.
But it's more of like just being like satisfied with like yourself as a human being. Like, obviously you don't want to be this like skinny guy your entire life, or you know, like if you're like a bigger person, like I'm sure like that's why they, you know, work out and lose weight. So they don't want to be these like huge people. It's just kind of like feeling confident, like doing you, like, you know, wearing like the clothes that you want and making them look good. You know, they're really big into fashion.
Okay.
You know, so it's just like, yeah, just, you know, looking good, feeling good.
Yeah, so you mentioned this like confidence image, looking good, but something that really stuck out to me was you said nobody wants to be this, you know, skinny guy. Where do you think that that stems from? Do you think that that's something that you've noticed in maybe people around campus, your friend groups, or is that something that you've always felt? Do you remember being like young and thinking the same thing, or is this something that you think has kind of come up more recently in, you know, social media and Instagram, all that kind of stuff, just seeing other people and wanting that?
Yeah. I mean, I definitely see skinny people like around campus running around, and on social media, like all these skinny dudes, and that's fine. Like, you know, like, so like there's obviously like famous people, like look at Justin Bieber. He was skinny when he got famous, and now he's like bigger. But I guess like growing up, you know, I played football, so I was always around like dudes that like, you know, like we worked out and like, you know, they obviously played like other positions, you know, like I played like corner, which is like you don't need to be big for that position, you know, but like my friends were like linebackers and like offensive linemen, you know, so they were just like huge. So it was just kind of like, got used to, you know, like working out and exercising. I mean, we'd always, like when we were growing up, like going outside, throwing the football, or like going to the gym and just like lifting however much we could. You know, so it was just kind of like just a habit.
Okay.
You know?
Okay. So, from your end, what should we prioritize? What do you want me to prioritize in our therapy sessions and our meal planning and all of that and all of our goals moving forward? What do you want me to prioritize?
Probably prioritize like cardio health.
Okay.
You know, so keep our plan, you know, under the recommended limit for cardio stuff.
Okay. And what's next? What comes after that?
Do like a weight gain, like a healthy weight gain plan that could help me achieve my goals, obviously, you know, with exercise.
Okay. Yeah, that's definitely something that we'll take into account. Okay, so you mentioned that you're on a meal plan now. You've been on one for 2 weeks. Have you ever done anything like this before?
I haven't done it to this extent where I record everything and I follow it, you know, to the T. I did, you know, once like have a meal plan in the sense where I like would eat the same thing every day, but I'd eat just like a lot, but you know, I wouldn't count like the calories or the sodium or protein or whatever. I would just like eat the same thing every day for like a month. You know, but I wouldn't look at the nutrition facts.
Okay.
As to where this time I do.
And how did that feel?
I mean, I feel good. Like I would just eat a lot. I only gained like 2 pounds though.
Okay, so it seems like you're kind of umbrellaing all of this over like pounds and, you know, numbers. You seem like a very big numbers
Oh yeah, I love
guy.
numbers.
Okay. So why do you think that didn't work out for you?
Well, probably looking back now that I know how many factors there are going into like each foods.
Or that you mean like macronutrients, like your proteins?
Yeah, proteins and carbs and stuff like that. Back when I did that plan, you know, for the month or whatever, where I just say whatever I want, it wasn't really balanced, and also my workout routine at that time wasn't what's the word?
Consistent.
Consistent.
Okay.
There you go. You know, like back then it was like a month off for school, like Christmas break or something. You know, so like one day I'd go and work out, the other day I'd work out twice.
Okay.
You know, then the other day I wouldn't work out, but every day I would eat like the same thing, you know. So I just feel like, you know, just because I was eating a lot, I wasn't doing other things, right? Or I wasn't routine with it.
Okay. And what do you think kept you from being routine with that?
Just me not like being, me not keeping track of it. You know, I'd eat whenever I got hungry. You know, not, you know, every 3 hours or something. You know, I'd eat. You know, when I wake up, which I would wake up like a different time each day because, you know, I didn't have like much going on. It was like a holiday. And then, you know, sometimes I'd eat like at night, but, you know, sometimes that meant like 10 p.m., sometimes that meant midnight, sometimes that meant 2 a.m., 4 a.m., just like whatever.
Okay. So, what do you think changed that stopped you for a while, but then brought you back in here today? Why are you seeking help now? What's the difference now?
Well, I've been talking to some friends that have started, you know, like one of these meal plans, and it's really helped them, you know, put on muscle weight, and cut down, you know, their body fats and stuff like that. Obviously, you know, I don't have a problem. I mean, I don't know my body fats, but, you know, they were like bigger guys to where like, you know, they're doing a meal plan of losing weight, gaining muscle, and I'm kind of the opposite. You know, I'm doing like gaining muscle, and obviously, you know, like you have to like put on a little bit of fat going through it. Like, it's just, so I mean, I feel like now I just have more of a planned out schedule to where I didn't have it before.
Okay.
So I thought I'd give it a shot.
Okay, good. So, I want you to kind of to backtrack a little bit to before you started this meal plan, and then I also want to talk about, you know, how this is working out now, but I want you to kind of tell me like what your body is telling you. I know that sounds a little bit hard, but like I guess one of the best ways that I've heard this explained is like if we decapitated you, we put your head on one side of the room and your body on the other side, what would your body tell your brain? Do you think that, you know, it feels like it's fueled right meal plan, or do you feel like there were things that were missing? Could you notice a difference in just the way that you felt?
I mean, food-wise, like I don't feel like foods, you know, make me less energized than others. You know, so I guess probably like fueling your body, like I feel like, you know, it's fine. Like I've always been active. You know, I've played soccer all my life. You know, I play basketball. So I'm always, you know, looking to do exercise and stuff like that.
So you stay active.
Yeah. So I don't think, you know, like ever in my life, like food has had an effect on it. It's more of like, you know, balancing like sleep schedule and food kind of thing, you know, because like, you know, some days I'll sleep longer than other days, which is like another reason why I started this meal plan now, you know, because since I have early classes, kind of forced, you know, to wake up like early as to where, you know, like when I was doing the other one, I'd wake up whenever, like I didn't, you know, it's like sometimes I'd get like 8 hours of sleep, other days I'd get like 10 hours of sleep, you know, and so on and so forth. So it's more of just like balancing food, balancing, you know, sleep, exercise, just kind of all those things. And I feel like now I've kind of put all those three together, and I'm trying to work on maybe like going further.
Okay, cool. So you mentioned energy, but I kind of want to take it a little bit of a step further and talk about classes and brain fog and that kind of thing. Have you noticed a difference in how you feel mentally? Maybe you're able to stay focused longer in class, or when you get to class, I know when I get to class, first off, I'm like, whoa, I'm still tired, I'm still sleepy, I'm basically still asleep, my eyes are just open and I'm physically here. Is that something that you've noticed? Have you noticed a change in that you're able to be more present, actively present?
Definitely when I eat, I'm more actively present. If I don't eat before class, it's like if I'm hungry before class, my stomach's growling, and like the only thing that I'm thinking about is food for like a long time until I eat, and it kind of like distracts me from kind of what's going on in class, and I'm more, concerned about eating or like planning my next meal. So yeah, and then also like when I study, if I get hungry, like I'll, obviously I'll get a headache, and I won't be able to retain the information as well as I would as, like let's say I ate dinner or something. And so, obviously in college, sometimes you stay up late studying for an exam. So whenever I do that, once I get hungry, I have to eat. Otherwise, I'm just wasting my time studying.
Okay. Do you feel like the same kind of thing happens with tests? If you go into a test hungry, you maybe don't perform as well as if you eat right before a test?
It just depends how well prepared I am for the test.
Okay, yeah, I can see how that would play a role.
If I'm really prepared for a test and I'm confident, then, just kind of like I just go in there confidently. I don't really think about anything else. Just drink some water, stay hydrated, just knock it out of the park.
Yeah.
But if I'm not confident about a test, I'm kind of just worried about everything. I'm worried about what's going to be on this test. I'm worried about, oh crap, I didn't eat, so now my head hurts. I should get some food. So it just kind of depends on my preparedness.
Okay.
For an exam.
Yeah. Okay. So you mentioned water, and that was something that we didn't really talk about before. What does your water intake look like? Do you think that you are pretty good about staying hydrated, or is that something that you notice you kind of slack on a little bit?
I like to think that I'm pretty good at staying hydrated, especially with exercise. I drink those little 12-ounce
Water bottle kind of thing?
little plastic bottle
One of those.
things. Oh yeah. One of these bad boys right here. It's actually 16.94 ounces, not 12. And so I go through maybe 5, 6, 7, 8 a day.
Wow, okay. Okay, so it seems like you're good in the water department.
I think so.
Good. Well, I've gotten a lot of really good information from you today. And, before we close, I kind of want to get to a point where we can set some SMART goals. I'm really big about making sure that our goals are attainable and measurable, but also things that can be achieved, in a timely manner. I think that what's going on right now is you are kind of maybe in a state where you're going through a lot of changes. Being on such a strict meal plan, I can see how that would be a little bit overwhelming for your body. The other day I heard a really good analogy about, an operating system. If you don't update your phone operating system, all of your apps are going to be a little bit laggy, things are going to be a little weird until you update that, and throughout the process of updating that, your body and your phone are going through changes.
Right,
so it kind of seems like that may be a little bit of a point where you're in right now. It seems like it's going pretty well, but I don't want to overwhelm your body by making all these large changes at once, just because that seems like something that, like I said, is a really big change. So something that seemed really important to you was addressing, your sodium intake because of your heart condition. And so I want to talk about maybe some ways that you're bringing in extra sodium, or I want to know a little bit more about how your meal plan is kind of pulling that down, so we can see, how we can tweak some things to make sure that you're on track to better cardiovascular health.
Well, prior to the meal plan, I didn't really count my sodium intake, but I know I would eat like more than 3,000 milligrams of sodium. Just because, you don't, obviously you have a pizza.
Yeah.
And pizza has a lot of sodium.
Yeah, it's easy to.
And that's just one meal.
Yeah.
Also, Chipotle has a lot of sodium. It's like one of the ingredients. So, but now, as I'm doing my meal plan, I eat about 1,900 milligrams of sodium,
Okay.
which, you know, they say that the recommended is what, like 2,000, 2,200 or something like that. So I've gotten a lot better, I feel like, now, but, you know, I would still be kind of willing to work on that plan and bring that number even lower.
Okay. Okay. So another thing that kind of concerns me a little bit is with your meal plan being so strict and then having those 2 days where you're kind of just free-for-alling, I'm thinking that maybe what's happening with your body, not so much that you're not listening to what it's telling you, but more so that your body is kind of getting into this like repetitive mode, and as soon as it sees the opportunity for something else, maybe some chicken nuggets or, you know, a pizza or whatever it is, it kind of attacks that because it's so, I don't want to say bored, but looking for variety in things. So something that I'm going to kind of challenge you to do, something we can do together, is maybe add in a little bit of variety there. Maybe switch, you know, your 6 egg whites for lunch to maybe a chicken breast or something along those lines that could still keep you within your macro levels, but give a little bit of variety to your diet and make it a little bit more fun for you, something that you can really enjoy. Because, I mean, at the end of the day, I just don't want you to get burnt out of something and then be 2 steps farther behind from where you started out, kind of thing. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Does that seem like something that you would be interested in?
Yeah, we can do that.
Okay, cool. So I definitely want to keep sodium and, you know, anything that could negatively affect your heart health in mind while doing all this. So what I'm going to ask you to do is tonight I'm going to email you a list of all these different foods that are good for a bunch of different things. And I kind of want you to go in and check off the box for foods that you like. That way I don't send you a meal plan with broccoli on it because you obviously don't like broccoli. You know, there's no reason for me to send you all these things if you don't like them.
Right.
So I want to do that, and then I also want to make a plan to see you back in here again. How does, at the end of the beginning of next week sound?
Okay.
Does that work good? Yeah, so you can kind of have your weekend, and I want you to kind of keep in mind what we talked about today during your week, you know, or during your weekend rather, because maybe if you're at the football game and somebody brings a box of pizza, I want you to kind of keep in mind what it means to listen to your body and to really practice what I call intuitive eating. Which is really just the practice of, again, listening to your body and making decisions based on that. So one of my professors, love her, she's amazing. If you ever have a chance to take a nutrition class, Ann Spenden Sanchez, perfect. She's a fantastic professor. I think I've told you about her before. But she used to always tell me that your body's smart, it's your brain that's dumb. Your body isn't going to fail at keeping you alive and telling you what it wants. Your body's always going to be really good at telling you that. So I want you to kind of practice listening to your body until the next time that I see you, because I want to talk a little bit next week about how that felt and if you made any changes based on that, or since you were conscious of it, if there were just any differences that you noted, kind of thing. How does that sound?
Okay. We can do that.
Okay.
We can do that.
Okay, so how does Monday work for you? I think I have an opening Monday at 9 a.m.
Monday at 9? That works.
Perfect. Okay, so look out for your email tonight, and then by 7 o'clock it'll be sent out. So just try to get that back to me tonight. That way I can have it ready for the next time you leave on Monday, okay?
We'll do it.
Awesome. It was so nice to meet
Thanks.
you, and
Nice to meet
I
you
really
too.
enjoyed this.